Greetings and salutations, Internet Distance. It is I, Wolfphototech, and here we are with another delightful video. I have just a really simple folding chair I sit on. That is not even like a turn or anything. It's like, yes. So many people will have those big old comfy gamer chairs, and I just have a folding chair in which I got for free from work. But anyways, back to my thing. I put my money into the content in which people watch, not the things I sit on. But anyways, this is the Critical Fumble Deck for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I mentioned this in the previous video for the Critical Hit Deck. Much like the Critical Hit Deck, this deck is also $12.99. You can buy it cheaper some places, or etc. In this deck, there is 54 cards. These 54 cards always come with the rules introduction card, which also includes special rules, as well as a variant rule and a proficiency rule and a critical hit deck variant rule. So what this does, first and foremost, I have to get this really important point out of the way. This deck is not mandatory to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition. However, this is a fun little add-on deck that you can set up on your table when you're playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And when a player, by the way, there's always a OGL legal card or sheet in all Pathfinder products by Paizo. But anyways, when a player gets a critical fumble, or in the case of the critical hit deck, a critical hit, or they use a hero point in the case of the hero point deck, they can draw one of these cards. There are some variant rules tied into this. However, when you draw one of these cards, there is an effect that's tied onto the card for the type of damage that's being dealt, or what would be dealt. For the case of this situation, in this deck, it's not like the other one. It's a slightly different structure, but it's it's the same kind of structure, but it has different criteria tied into it. Say, like in this one, it says melee, ranged, unarmed, and spell. So for melee, for this card, if you draw this and you were doing a melee attack, you are slowed one until the end of next turn. If you're using a ranged attack, you are dazzled until the end of your next turn. If you are using an unarmed attack, until healed, you take a -2 circumstance penalty to attack rolls. And in the case of spells, if you screw up a spell, you get a critical. A critical fumble. Your target gains the effect of a minor image spell. So there you go. And to be quite clear, that this deck has a variety of different possibilities. It's 54 cards. They're all pretty different. This one has, for melee, you take a -2 circumstance penalty to attack rolls with this weapon until the end of next turn. Ranged, you are confused. Unarmed, eye strain. You are dazzled until end of your next turn. For spell, it's called Blast Off. You must succeed at a will saving throw or be thrown 1d6 times 5 feet into the air or in random direction determined by the game master if you're flying. That's going to lead to some rather hilarious situations. If you're a really fun game master, you can take that blast off. Like, you can turn the blast. You have the possibility of turning blast off into a funny Three Stooges moment where your wizard tries to throw a spell, screws up, launches himself right into an enemy, knocking the enemy over that was fighting an ally, and everyone just tumbles over the place is hilariously. There's so many awesome moments in this deck. There's some stuff that is a little more dangerous if you're like playing in really low levels, like level 1, level 2, like this one right here for melee damage. If you get a critical fumble, you take 1d10 persistent bleed damage. Ooh. Yes, if you roll really high on that, your character pretty much is going to be done for pretty darn quickly if at low levels. So you have to keep in mind when you're using this critical fumble deck, some really crazy fun situations can happen. But if your player draws and like, oh no, I'm doomed at level 1. And I just got knocked down prior, kind of thing, you know. It can really make the whole game a whole lot harder all of a sudden. So like here for melee, you got armor smash. You deal the attack's normal damage to your armor, applying hardness. So you were so bad at swinging your attack, you ended up actually hitting yourself with your own weapon and damaging your armor. So there you go. You got Fumbus on the card back, having a rather shocking and exploding situation right there. I think that's him basically messing up something and it just exploding on him. Yeah, indeed. So there's a beautiful array of these cards. Like, here's another one for melee. Backswing. You deal the attack's normal damage to yourself instead of the target. On this card, there's also for ranged, wide open. You are flat-footed until the end of your next turn. So you're so bad at shooting your bow or your crossbow or throwing your melee weapon that you literally cause yourself to be flat-footed for the rest of the turn. In the case of unarmed, you tripped, you fall prone. Ooh. For spell, you are encumbered until you spend 2 interact actions to free yourself. Tangled in Gear is the name for that one. There's some really funny ones in here, but there's also some fairly scary ones at low levels. So this is yet again one of those things it depends on your group. If your group is like really into building on more difficulty into the game and really wants a solid challenge, you add this critical fumble deck. That's just makes Pathfinder 2nd Edition harder to play. If you want to make it easier to play, you go ahead and check out the Critical Hits deck or the Hero Points deck from Paizo or Paizo. I've heard it said both ways enough times, and I'm actually kind of on the edge of wanting to say it both ways in my videos now. Although Paizo staff will tend to say it one way over another. So thank you very much for watching this video. By the way, I would give this deck 4 stars. Alright, there's so many fun situations. Some of the cards really can build some really crazy character Rube Gold interactions into the game. If you're a really flexible and creative game master and a player pulls out a blast off card, yes, so many ripe opportunities for a Three Stooges act going on right there. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe and tell me so in the comments below. And I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, and a wonderful week and a magnificent month, and see you next time.